Hey, I'm Pat Monahan from the band Train, and you are watching a music blog. Yeah, AMBY.
It's Alicia from AMBY, and I would like to welcome you to our interview with Pat from Train. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Hello, AMBY watchers.
How are you doing?
Great.
Awesome.
How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for taking the time to join me today.
It was like 10 degrees colder this morning than it is now. It's like beautiful out in Toronto, and it's going to be a great night for a concert.
You're liking it a bit more now, temperature-wise?
I love Toronto. I've been here in the winter as well. And,
oh, okay.
And so I get it.
You have to take it in while you can. You really do.
Yeah. And all the people around me are humongous hockey fans, so
yeah.
This is kind of the heart of all of it.
Well, I want to kick things off by diving into A Girl, a Bottle, a Boat, latest record release. Now that it's been out for a little bit, and it's all been able to sink in, how are you feeling about the album's release?
Great. I mean, Play That Song was kind of a touch on old music and sounding like today's music, and then our new single, Drink Up, is doing really well, so when you put a song on the radio, it gives people a chance to go find out more about the record. Like, that's why I love when a song does well, because then it will make people go listen to the other songs that I care about that maybe won't be on the radio. So that's happening.
Something that I really like about this album is there's definitely a party theme. I feel like there are a lot of summer anthems.
Yeah.
That's why I'm kind of looking forward to it being such a great summer day and listening to this record.
Yeah.
So I was wondering what kind of sparked that underlining theme of, hey, let's actually put out a party release.
I don't know. It was 2 years in the making. It takes about 2 years for me to write an album. I think I write maybe 50 songs, and I would say 40 of them are horrible. Some of the worst songs in the world. And then 10 of them are probably pretty good. So that's kind of this way. And when people were listening to the demos of them, they were like, man, this sounds like we should be on the lake in a boat with a bottle of wine. And so that's where the title came from.
Is it difficult for you to narrow it down from the 50 to that 10?
It's not as difficult as I would hope it would be.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, those bad ones, they really like to scream out, "We're terrible. Don't put us on a record."
They just talk to you.
Yeah, pretty much. And then some of the other ones that are good, and they get weeded out too. So like you'll have a list of 20, and then everyone will get a vote. You know, like my managers, and I'll even let my family vote, so you can see what the common ones are. And there's usually 5 common. But in this case, there were about 10 that everyone chose, so it was very obvious.
Yeah, it makes it very simple.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad that you brought up Drink Up, because there's a very cool video for that song.
Yeah.
And you said it was one of the best days of your life when you actually filmed it.
It really was.
So take us behind the scenes, because you had some pretty cool talent.
So I became good friends with a few comedians. Jim Brewer, who used to be on SNL, Ken Jeong, who is Mr. Chow in all the Hangover movies, George Lopez, who's an incredibly famous guy, and Marshawn Lynch, who's not a comedian, but he's every bit as funny as those other comedians. And Marshawn and I met because his agent and I became friends. We're, Bay Area guys, and Marshawn is a Bay Area guy, and that's why it's exciting that he's back in Oakland to play for the Raiders this year. And so I asked Marshawn if he would consider being the groom, and we would crash his wedding, and he was like, yeah, I like this, let's do it. So I sent him a bunch of bride options, and he was like, I like this girl, come on. And
that one.
And then we just had the best time. He is such a sweet, wonderful guy. Like, he is the most charitable guy, and the side of him that a lot of people don't get to see because he keeps it to himself. He's incredibly giving to his community and kids in Oakland, and he's just a really great teammate. Well, I remember when I was standing with George Lopez, and we were just kind of watching Marshawn do his thing. George said, being on a team with him would be pretty great. And that's exactly right. Everybody loves Marshawn. That's my story.
Would you say that's one of the crazier parties that you have been to, or has there been some?
That was the craziest thing
It was?
I've ever been a
That
part of.
tops it?
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. But I did mention that the one guy that would crash your wedding is Ken Jeong.
Okay.
Like, that guy will crash your wedding. And he's an MD. He's a medical doctor in real life. So when you're talking to him, he's speaking to you very calmly, and once that camera goes, he is a crazy person. And so it's I really decided during this filming that he's going to crash something someday, and it's going to be on YouTube, and it's probably going to be on AMBY.
Exactly.
AMBY.
AMBY. Something I really liked reading is you said how the 2 years leading up to this album were some of the most fun years that you've had, whereas with some of the previous records, they might have been a little bit more difficult to write. So
Yeah,
why was that?
This was really hard to do.
Why was this one so smooth sailing?
Because I was ready. When
Okay.
you're ready, you're ready. Like, there's a song that my manager sent me 2 months ago. They're like, hey man, I think this might be a hit song if you write to it. I'm just not ready. I can't do anything with it. Every time I hear it, I'm like, I don't know what to do with it. When you're ready, you're ready. And when I made Bulletproof Picasso, when I was writing those songs, I would like write a really good verse or a really good chorus and then try to piece it together with something else. And it just doesn't work that way for me. If I don't write a song in an hour, it's probably not worth much. And it's great to know that I'm not the only one that is like that. Like, I think Sia likes to write quickly because then it means it's something special.
Okay.
And if it takes 5 hours, it's like, we should
Maybe you're working a
move
little too
on.
hard.
Well, it's just like, yeah, you're trying to turn something into something maybe it doesn't want to be.
Well, sitting with you here today, I do have to ask about Patcast because I know it's been a little bit since you've shown that. I know how busy you've been, but do you think it might make a return?
I don't know how many people really loved it. I mean, there might be better research now that you can find out how many people are actually watching and listening, and I got so burnt out on it. Like, this is my job, and I was spending most of my time trying to get interviews with musicians or politicians or athletes or anybody that I felt was interesting, and it was so consuming that I didn't enjoy it anymore because it was too often. It was like once a week instead of maybe once a month, or twice a month would be good probably for that kind of thing. So maybe it'll come back, but not as
frequent.
I'm not going to be so demanding on myself,
If
I'll come and interview you. You can be on my podcast.
That'd be fantastic.
I mean, you get a lot of viewers, and it is impressive.
Why, thank you.
There's a lot of kids out there trying to make something like this happen, and they're not able to do it. And the way you communicate with your fans is you're looking in the camera, and then you look at me, and then
you can't forget about them, right? They're watching. They got to know that we're still there.
they know that you love them.
Is there anybody that you would absolutely love to have on the podcast if you were to continue with it? Who's somebody that you would really just love to pick the brain of?
Well, I'm a really big Howard Stern fan, and Howard and I have become friends. And what I really wanted to do is take the podcast and turn it into a special that I could have done on his channel 101.
Okay.
And so I wanted it to be called like Patcast Legends. And I wanted to get like Steven Tyler and Billy Joel and, like really big rock acts. And it just didn't happen. But that's kind of like, if I was going to do it, that would be a pretty cool goal. Like to have, legends of rock and roll. And honestly, they're going to be dying. Like, I'm not saying that to be, like, not
It's
nice.
realistic.
And I'm not saying that about those particular people that I just mentioned, but look at Chris Cornell. He was a few years older than me, and he's gone. I would have loved to have spent some time with him. I met Greg Allman years ago, and I'm so glad I did. He wasn't feeling well then, and so I feel like there's two things that I think people really need to think about. If you are a legend, tell your story. And second, if you love music, go see live music. Because you might not get a chance. Like, Prince was not supposed to go as early as he did, but he did. And now we don't get to see him. And so I'm not saying those particular people are going to die, but we're all going to go. So if you love something, go see it.
Go support it while you can.
I mean, it's not a support thing. It's a go.
Well, I guess it's true. Those legends don't really need the support at that point.
They're going to be fine without you. But you might not be.
Yeah, of course.
I really, really would have loved to have seen several people that are not here anymore. And I got to see Greg Allman perform because I got to sing an Allman Brothers song at like this special, and that was a really great honor for me. I got to witness Willie Nelson and many other people, Chris Christopherson sing. You know, I got to meet those people, but I would love to sit with them and get their story. Like, kind of a story different than other people have gotten it, because I live out here too. You know, we're all living in the same world.
I really hope that comes to fruition. I'd definitely be a listener. Just to wrap things up, is there anything you would like to leave with all the Train fans who will be viewing?
I don't know. How many Canadians come on our Sail Across the Sun cruise every year?
That's a good question.
I think there's a few. It's an amazing time, and it's at a time when Canada needs some sunshine. And so it sells out every year, but I love Canadian people, so the more Canadians, the better. And so get on that boat. Check it out, sailacrossthesun.com. I love you.
Beautifully put. Thank you so much for chatting with this Canadian today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, word.
Remember,
your intern.
And remember, to everyone viewing, you can visit us at musicblogger.com for all exclusive interviews, features, videos, and so much more. See you next time.